Oh, yeah, because come on.
Tune us in first. Go for it, Dylan.
Okay, so hold on. Before we get into that, pause it, Nathan. So, I haven't done this in a couple weeks. Hold on.
Forgot what to say, didn't you?
Remember the
hello?
words?
We are the One for All podcast. I don't know. Oh shit, that's my Hero Academia podcast. Welcome. This is the F Movie podcast. That's not right either. Shit. Fuck. Redo it. Don't cut. You cut this, Nathan. You cut this out.
No.
Damn it. That's Nathan. He edits. He's gonna leave everything in. He always does.
Always.
That's Bryce. He has a blue shell. I don't know. He'll make a joke about being number one or something. That's Mason. He tans better in the sun because he just mowed the yard like a savage
Barbarian.
Yeah.
Just a bare-chested beauty.
Yeah.
Chested beauty. That's what they called Dylan in high school.
That's true. And nobody was in high school to fact check that. I'm Dylan. We're all your hosts. Today we're reviewing Wall-E, but more violent.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we're reviewing Alita, Battle Angel.
You're asking us a question. You watched.
I looked right at you for that one. Yeah. Well, is it Battle Angel or is it like Disney Princess? I don't know. We'll figure out for the review. But in case you don't know, the most popular controversial game of 2020, that's Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing that because they have blade hands, and I mean, come on. If you watch this movie or if you haven't, it kind of makes sense. Oh yeah, I figured we swim in this game.
Yeah, I kind of forgot too.
Yeah,
You swimming now?
Yeah, I thought you were. I wasn't gonna lie. I thought you were just gonna straight up die. Anyway, this is Cyberpunk. This is post patch 1.23 for those wondering at home, and Alita Battle Angel price. I think you should go ahead and tell us what. I'm just kidding. He didn't watch it. He fucking hates the concept of this one.
If you watched our last video, I already said my piece on that. It's just like our bracket. I lost my voice talking about Nightcrawlers and Brothers. I'm not gonna do that again. So I watched the OVA instead because I thought some of us were gonna watch it. But we got our wires crossed. It's summer. A lot of people have been on vacation.
Yeah.
Haven't really figured out what's going on. These two are brown. These three are brown.
Yeah.
I'm still as pasty and reflective as ever.
Sure.
So
Mason,
I've been around.
Mason, you're. Oh my god, that's gonna be fun.
Tag me in.
You go ahead. Tell us what this movie's about, buddy.
Alright, so basically Christopher Walsh's character... Christoph Waltz's character. You know, he's like a robot fixer, and he's in the junkyard and he finds this pieces of this girl.
Dead body. This is how it starts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mowed down by the police up on the floating city.
Yeah. Anyways, puts this girl together. She turns out to be this girl with no memory, but some kind of past that she slowly regains as she goes on. She ends up being the feistiest, tiniest little thing that is capable of doing the biggest and baddest things.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. There's some robot fighting. There's some like I don't even know what you.
This is a lot.
No, there's a lot going on.
There's more than real steel.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is that it's a romance.
Oh, yeah. It's the worst romance I've ever heard.
And it's the cringiest
it's ridiculous.
of teen romances.
Is
his name
Hugo?
Yeah, that's
Hugo.
in the OVA. Like, he's super important.
Like in a way, I am kind of disappointed that you didn't watch this, just because I wanted you to experience how terrible it is.
This guy was worse than the guy in It Follows, in my opinion.
Like,
so my boy Big.
Yes.
Well,
just
I don't think he was as cucky because he was doing more stuff.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of sketchy stuff too,
Right.
and he was like in a way like kind of taking advantage of her
Totally.
naivete.
Right.
But like, I don't know. It felt like this story could have done just fine if it wasn't a teen romance,
Yeah.
and I did not realize. Like, watching the trailer, you don't think this is going to be 99% teen romance movie.
Yeah. Really?
And it is so...
There's
Like,
a
was the
lot of
OVA
it.
anything like that? Was it, like,
No.
was that the predominant feature of it?
It's like there was like a little romance between them, but it wasn't really any connection between them.
And that's how
then
this
it was
one
it was
started.
important at the end, but that's
Right.
it.
This one started like that, and he's right. He basically takes advantage of her because she's really good at this robo-ball or motor ball or whatever it's
She's just
called.
good at fighting and killing things, which that just rolls into the culture of that.
And she's super confident in everything that she does, and he sees that, and motorball happens to be one of his favorite things. It would be like someone just loving like baseball and then having a girlfriend that's just
Ken
stupid
Griffey
good.
Jr.
Yeah, and just being like Alex Rodriguez and just wanting her there to just play baseball, and that way he could watch her. That would just be it. It was a little silly as far as the romance of it. Luckily, I don't think it was 99%. It was just like every time he was on screen, you got this stupid little vibe.
Right. Every time it was with him on her on screen, it was like, oh, fuck.
Him on her?
Yeah, well...
To me,
that tracks, yeah, pretty much.
heavily, I feel like the romance heavily detracts from what could have been an interesting movie.
Yeah.
And creates so many moments where it's cringy. Okay, so another question. In the OVA, does she decide to just pull her heart out and offer it to him?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, you could
and
take
then,
anything.
like,
He
he's
needed
acting
money.
like...
He needed money.
Right, because
and she was willing to just be like, hey, this heart this is the Tony Stark heart. You could get $1 million for this.
Multiple millions.
She's actually like a mercenary in the OVA, and she like kills like a bunch of like bounty people to get money for him.
I mean,
that's what she does.
Yeah,
eventually
that's what she starts to do, but she doesn't really do a lot of that in this one.
Right.
No, she definitely doesn't offer her.
Yeah,
well,
it
so
felt very Twilight
does
at that point.
She does that, and then she's like, once the scene's over, she's like that. Oh yeah. She was just like that was a lot, wasn't it?
She literally.
It's like that was a little much.
Yeah. Well, and she was just head over heels for him, which was stupid. But I just played it off as like she's basically a soulless person or an empty shell, basically.
Yeah.
That doesn't know anything. She has an orange for the first time.
Yeah,
like,
she bites the skin off and she's like, blah.
Yeah, so
Like,
it just paints a picture of this naive girl.
So, all right, if we're gonna stick in the romance for a second, all right, let's just keep we're in it. We're in our review as usual. We don't waste time getting into it. But I'll say this is that the romance parts definitely stick the landing about as well as paraplegic leaping off the third floor. But
is that a reference to the movie?
No.
Oh, I missed it.
I don't recall that happening, but a lot of robots did end up falling. Anyway, so that's beside the point. Okay. Yeah, so the romance was sloppy to say the least, but. I give credit where credit's due in that they played it up like Hugo was about to do this whole tropey betrayal thing, and they just didn't do it. They just said it's not worth the time and energy to actually play it out all the way start to finish. Because Hugo in the movie, for viewers and price, is like this, like, he's got this backdoor deal with Vector, who runs like the whole murder ball thing, and like him and his boys go like scrap people in their parts and shit like that. Murder Ball, which
is that what it was called?
I think it's called Motor Ball, isn't it?
I always assumed it was Murder Ball, but
I mean Murder Ball sounds cooler.
It really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's like not exactly the best dude, and of course it's like he's a good guy with a golden heart, but he does all these bad things, and that's gonna be like the inevitable like she'll find out conflict, blah. Yeah. And the movie kind of just gets there, and it's just like let's not sit on it too long, and it never feels like he portrays her because he could have so many times, and she's literally like wanting to get portrayed, like take my heart. Literally, and I'm like, all right, it's getting a little... And that was very... It felt too extreme for her character. Like, that was a big leap. She went from being, like, obvious teen drama to, like, Bella from Twilight. Like, fucking kill me, Edward, hurt me, daddy. Like, it was all the way over on that extreme all of a sudden. And then she just kind of calms down with it. Because he's like, hey...
You just punched that guy in the head.
Yeah, so she comes around and,
he's got a gun.
I don't know about this one, Nathan.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one.
Anyway, the very
took him down.
I guess the short aspect is I kind of respect the movie for holding back whenever it could have gone full throttle into like doing that stuff. Like, and for a movie that's 2 hours and a little too long and stretches anyway, for them to hold back on this one aspect, I was fine with. But because we're also going to sit on the Hugo romance, I want to say how fucking dumb is it that they keep him alive, get his head into a new body, only to drop it off the fucking pillar. And let him die.
I forgot about that.
At the end of the film.
He just gets like put into this robot body, and then it's immediately like I'm going to the city now. I've got the body that previously it was alluded to that if I had this body, this is what I would do.
And then he fucking doesn't. Like,
that happens in the OVA.
Right.
It's so stupid because like it's trying to make you feel like he has this character change where he's like, oh, I'm going to clean up my act for this girl and everything.
I'm selfish. I want to go to the city.
And then it's just immediately like let's take off and go do something that now feels like all that character progression was for naught.
Yes. So, and there's a 60-70% chance that the sequel happens that he's actually alive, and that's how they kind of play it out.
They play a very big sequel card in this.
Right, they play it very big as there's gonna be a sequel, guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, we don't know, but
open-ended.
Yeah, very open-ended in that way. But I will say this is that it's just like wow, waste my fucking time with this character.
Yeah.
If not just even for that last little bit, just like bro, just let him die. Like, if you're gonna just have this scene where he's running up here, just let him die. But anyway, I want to talk about Christoph Waltz's character for a little bit because this is clearly the best role he's ever had.
Charming.
In any movie that we've reviewed.
Okay. He's very charming.
Inglorious?
Never heard of it.
What?
Yeah, you know, it's funny that he plays such a very different person.
Opposite.
He's incredibly wholesome, very sweet in this one. Doesn't kill anybody.
He does have like
that's
that
not true.
moment where he seems like he's gonna be sinister. Like it's definitely like trying to make you think like, oh, he's the person going around like hacking up all these women.
Nathan, I'm surprised you aren't more about this. We finally had Christoph Waltz play Repo.
Guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Repo.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, man, there's just everything's connected.
Coming together.
Everything's all done by something. Everything's Repo in the end.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
Drama.
I think that like, I don't know. I forgot how much Hugo was in it. But speaking on anything but Hugo,
yes,
did you guys like the robot on robot type sequences?
Oh, the
where
actions?
Anything action in this movie. I thought that they landed it pretty darn
No, I like the action across the board. I thought it was, like, the choreography was pretty well. It didn't feel too over the top. Mega Man was the other reference I was going to make because any story with, like, a cyborg that's struggling with aspects of humanity, growing up and getting upgraded and killing everything, it's Mega Man.
Yeah.
It's just a Mega Man movie. But,
is there a Mega Man movie?
No.
Live action?
Not.
I would think there would. With how popular it is, you'd think there would be one somewhere.
Something may have creeped out in the
Maybe an
like,
anime.
Closer in the
Yeah.
80s. Definitely anime, because hell, they've had like a handful of even like Americanized animes like NT Warrior and stuff like that, which weren't nearly as good, but Proto Man was sweet. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Mega Man. The point is, though, is that, the robot on robot action felt pretty good. It didn't feel like Transformers too chunky, too clunky, gears punching.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
those were meant to be big.
Yeah.
Those were very much meant to be pretty...
It had a sense of agility and slicing and finesse to it that didn't just feel like it was just two fucking semi-trucks humping.
It was interesting, just the like dynamic of the different kinds of augmented humans, like with the robotics and such. The thing I would wonder is, like, she's a cyborg, right? Yeah. So she's
human brain,
but she has a human brain, full robot body. So was she? I don't know, like, I guess I don't quite understand this world's distinction between what's a cyborg and what's just a human that has, like, replaced parts, you know?
Well, that and, like, her past life or her past job was, like, very, like...
I mean, she was, like, a militia
Yeah,
she was, like a
heavy,
built-to-purpose
big
kind of... Like, she was a built-to-purpose machine. She clearly wasn't a human modified... to be in the military.
I don't know where they snagged this brain, but they definitely got a human brain, and for whatever reason, she had a very programmed, like, cyborg life body, things like that. So, I don't know. That's something probably worth exploring. You know, tying that into, like, I guess the overall world lore, because I think that's something worth talking about. You know, I think it's mostly pretty interesting in the scheme of things.
Yeah, I do think the lore and the world is certainly interesting, which makes me quite frustrated again with how I feel like so much else that was going on in this movie really detracts.
And you focused on fucking Hugo, and he was gonna die anyway, right? Or Ed Skrein's character, period. Like
what was the name of the group from Mars? Because they had like an acronym for them too.
Oh,
it was like the Federation of Mars.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
I
think so.
FAM or something.
Yeah, FAM.
But yeah, I thought that was cool that. The idea that Mars had better technology than Earth and attacked Earth with these cyborgs
and I mean, like, I just think that there's this concept that, like, you know, pre, like, 2563 and, like, there's this big fall and stuff like that. We're getting very... Honestly, I get a lot of Repo vibes from this movie, because even just looking at the grounded core of it, like, you have people, like, scrapping for parts, taking all these, like, things, and instead of organs and stuff,
always
it's just
scrapping.
Cybernetics. But then you have, like, the bounty hunter crew and stuff like that, and I thought those were pretty neat. I'm like, oh man, you could really dig into have some fun with this. But instead they did this. They danced on a fucking dance floor, and then they just had one bar fight.
Yeah.
And then Texas dog guy. Oh, and they killed the dog for fucking.
Okay,
nope.
so
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And then she got
wipes the blood.
Yeah, and then wipes the blood on her face.
But
But here's the other thing that I was going to mention. So I watched a video that showed, like, shot for shot the similarities between the OVA and Alita.
Right.
The dog is viscerally murdered on screen,
In the OVA.
blood and guts exploding out in the OVA,
That doesn't surprise
whereas
me.
he dies off screen.
Yeah.
In
And the blood pulls over
Cameron's
to
version. Yeah.
And this movie may still maintain PG-13 rating even after killing. I mean, granted they didn't
Killing a
kill.
dog.
They didn't kill the dog. I mean, they killed the dog roughly on screen, but they didn't show like getting impaled or anything like that. But seeing implied blood pool like flying over from that and dropping an F-bomb, this movie skirted that.
Dude, I remember the Alita like trailer. That was part of it. Like she did the whole like.
Yeah, I remember her
painting of
doing
a
the
face
like that
sort of
part,
thing.
but I don't remember the
Being
the
dog
context
blood?
of dog blood was not implied on this one, and
Sure.
I'm like, Alita Battle Angel didn't know she was a Filipino.
John
model.
Wick.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just that part's a little strange. I'll admit. I'm like, okay, I get it. He's bad, so he has to kill a dog because that's something John Wick has started now, I guess. But I hope this doesn't become a trend. Can we stop killing the dogs?
Yeah.
He's bad. I know he sucks. I don't need this. That's when we're talking about getting extra
Well,
like icing on the
they
cake.
had
This is too many
to,
fruit.
you know,
Like-
they had to give a motivation for the like.
Oh, the
one-
Texan dog guy.
One of the guys.
The
that
one
actually
dude who
helped her.
actually helps in this
Yeah.
whole fucking ordeal, and it's Texas Dog Walker
Uh-huh.
and his 6 robot dogs. And he,
which those dogs did look a little corny.
Yeah,
Like,
they
as
looked
far
a
as
little
their
rough around the edges.
cybernetics, it's just
Yeah.
like, why did you do that to a dog?
Right.
It's like that doesn't
Yeah.
look like that makes them stronger.
I
It's
know.
like his lower jaw's robotic, his upper jaw's normal.
Right.
That's not gonna work out too
No.
well.
The return on investment has to be awful on that too, because I imagine they have normal dog lifespans unless they
Yeah.
have something.
Oh,
pumping
that's
it. So, like,
true.
every 4 to 6 years, it's like buying a Ford. Like you're just like having to recycle the freaking whole thing. But
I always heard that about Chevy.
that too.
Listen,
No, the truck market's up right now. Don't worry about that.
Well, if it's a
but
Versa.
that's electric
Ooh.
F-150. Oh, dude, they fucking don't stop.
Kidding
me? This
Don't
thing-
stop, won't stop.
They go to the moon.
This thing's been 10 years running and smooth as butter. But these things weren't. Oh, I don't know. Alita was probably a Nissan Versa, but a lot of
She
the,
was.
a lot of these things were more like Ford Tauruses, '98.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was a Mini Cooper from the Italian Job. She could handle anything.
Yeah,
She could handle the Hoover Dam.
right.
Is that what that was?
The Hoover Dam.
In the Italian Job, the thing with they like they shut out the sewer area, and then like it was is that thing that the plane landed in
I think so.
Hudson Bay. What am I
Okay.
thinking? Not the Hoover
Okay,
Dam.
It's
it's
all-
like I don't like. I've been to the Hoover Dam, and I'm not.
Isn't that in like Nevada or like
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
Mexico? Or
Yeah,
something?
it's very near Las Vegas.
Wasn't that?
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
not that.
Okay.
It was the Hudson Bay.
Okay.
But anyways, I can't get over how much I like the robotic stuff. It reminded me of like Tron, Real Steel, Ready Player One, all of that shit just
Real Steel's a good
thrown,
comparison.
yeah,
Yeah.
thrown into each other. And this is very much a kids movie, and I think that it had some adult aspect, but mostly it was all they were like, guys, what can we do to hook kids? Well, let's make a little bit of a love interest. Maybe these kids are starting to have some feelings.
I'm
having
tired of
some
executives
cooties.
trying to make this the only
True.
thing that's just
Yeah.
the kids too. Because I'm like, you don't think me as a kid would have just thought fucking action is sweet?
I
like,
want robots.
Yeah,
You know, you don't
give me
just-
robot
like,
blood.
the world and its ideas and
Yeah.
her as a character was good
So
enough
cool.
to
Right.
stand on
Yeah.
their own. It did not need this.
This got too Hollywooded was the problem
It was like
with
a little
that. Like,
potato
they had an
wedge.
extra hour.
Like, it didn't feel like it was.
Potato wedge.
I don't know. Like, yeah, it doesn't feel like it stands out as a story.
No.
Like,
And the story's
world
good. It felt like
stands out.
they took the best part and built around it instead of building on it. So, yeah, there's definitely roadblocks in the way to get to the best parts of this film. But the last thing I kind of want to like hit on as far as like details in this movie and things like that was let's talk about the cast for like a split second
Oh yeah.
because it's fucking loaded with talent.
Well,
Like
I didn't know who was that girl, the mom.
Demi Moore.
That was Demi Moore.
Yeah.
She
Dang.
was like taller and like super slender. I thought it was
Oh
something
yeah,
else.
you recognize Demi Moore after you've watched Charlie's Angels 2 Full Throttle.
Okay.
Why is
Full
that?
throttle.
Oh, she's really good at it.
Oh, okay.
Very memorable face.
And the Vector guy, the guy that uses
Mahershala Ali.
that's
yeah.
Ollie.
That's
Yeah.
really good casting. After,
Dude.
like the OVA, like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali, who
Yeah.
He was in oh gosh.
Moonlight is what you're thinking.
No, what
I
was
mean,
that one?
True Detective.
True Detective, Luke Cage.
That, but the gosh.
Luke Cage. Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Cage. That's what it was.
There
the
you
Marvel
go.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, he plays a worse Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
In this movie. But the problem, like, alright, so talk about, like, fighting with your hands fucking tied on this film. You get Mahershala Ali, and then you give him a character
Mhm.
that he only gets to act about half the time,
Yep.
while he's a meat puppet for the other character that's not on screen for
And-
most of the time.
And he dies pretty sillily, you know.
And he just
like-
kind of dies because he's there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really, I think Alita killing him was kind of I'm like, damn, girl, you didn't need to do all that. Like,
He dies in a really grotesque way in the OVA.
oh, he just gets
Yeah, he
stabbed.
He just gets stabbed in this
Yeah,
one.
this one.
Well, in the OVA, isn't the father character also at that?
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, Christoph. Isn't he at that scene?
Yeah, no, he does it.
Ah,
So
okay.
he does it. So
Does he use
there's
that
a
big
big
swinging fucking
difference
hammer
because
Yeah, he's got a
Alita-
big hammer that
Yeah, I
like
already
jet,
figured,
like
yeah.
jet
Yeah,
powers.
yeah.
I was
so
gonna
that's
say,
in-
I feel
that's
like,
in the movie.
yeah, in the OVA, the doctor probably comes off as a lot sweeter because he's. I mean, they give you the lore, like, not that he's like this big badass, but it's like, dude, you don't go wielding this fucking rocket hammer and not be like, you got a reputation for yourself. You know what I mean?
They made
Yeah.
him seem like the most like grandfatherly type figure.
Right.
Yeah,
he
like,
doesn't care
except
for
for, like,
everybody in
one
the bounty
spot.
crew.
He
Right.
seems like feebly old,
Yeah.
yet
Right.
he is a bounty hunter with a freaking rocket hammer and is going out every night.
That disassembles
Like-
robots with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he could do it all, and he could fix everything.
I mean, he repairs the whole fucking like bounty crew too,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
when he gets them stopped. He's like, there ain't gonna be no more free repairs if y'all keep fucking around, and the
Yeah.
whole place stops.
Yeah.
So-
he's got a network.
It felt like they were two characters in one. It felt like that they had like this
Mhm.
old like doctor, but then they also had like the badass like attached to him as well, and it just felt like that was kind of, again, like you get Christoph Waltz and you get this two character concepts, and they're not meshing well.
Same
Mahershala
thing with
Ali,
Ali,
yeah, you got like the Cottonmouth concept, and then you keep having Edward Norton robot up in the sky who you only see for a fraction of a second taking over and having to do this part.
Yeah, his eyes turn a little extra blue.
Yeah, they
or
get a little
yellow
blue.
or something.
And I was just like, that part frustrated more than anything, because I'm just like, y'all realize the talent you have here, and you're making them intentionally worse.
Well,
And then Demi Moore, I mean whatever, she didn't like act her art out, but she's good enough. Like,
would you guys think about something like this? Like, would this have been better as a TV series, a short mini series, or would it been better like flushed out in 2 or 3 movies versus just the one?
I like the idea of it being just like a trilogy movie. If they were, normally I talk about this in Fat, Thin, Perfectly Fit, but we don't do that anymore. So like, if I'm re-editing this film,
So upset.
I'd be fine with it being like a sequel concept. Maybe it's just a twofer. I think I could get away with just doing 2
Yeah,
movies.
I
It may
think
not
2
need the
would be
3.
fine.
I would see it having the problem where it would have to stretch out content in 2 to make 3 where the epiphany all happens. But no, I mean I think this is fine as like a movie setting thing. It's as long as you quit adding in the unnecessary tropes that don't go anywhere. Like again, the romance. If you want to have that a little bit early on and tease, that's fine. But if you just are gonna kill him at the end of the movie anyway, why even bring him back for a split second?
Well, yeah, and you're just sitting there like, how much chemistry did she really have with him?
Right.
By the time you killed him off, or gave him a new body, or cut off his head, or something.
If you're gonna have Mahershala Ali come in as this badass gangster, let him do his gangster shit. Don't immediately depower him. I felt no stakes from him the entire movie because they immediately introduced and say, "Oh, we've got some guy hacking up in the up in the upper space."
Yeah.
And it's just like he can do that whenever. I'm like, okay. Mahershala at one point is like creating this plot to try to like, overthrow him for like the split second. But I'm like, why would I believe this is gonna happen? The dude could just tag into his brain and off him if he wants to. Like,
Yeah, he could do whatever he wanted.
right. Like I don't feel any stakes with him going down there on that one. And I like the concept of like he at one point he's talking with Hugo, our favorite, and he's sitting there saying he's like, nah, I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than be up there. And he's like, I'd be at the bottom of the barrel up there. He's like, but down here, like, you get to be whoever you want. I'd rather be in charge down here.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, flesh that out. And they're like, nah, we're going to let Alita stab him.
Yeah, we're just gonna let her do it.
Right. Yeah.
I could definitely see a miniseries from this. They make miniseries about everything else.
Yeah.
I think that it would have been better off with that. But, like I said, I think that with what they had, they did pretty darn well.
Quit hacking. It's boring. It's boring to watch, Nathan. You get sword arms.
Get
out, you
those
stab
blade
them.
arms out.
Yeah, we want to see what they
Only
look
do a
like. in
360
real-
no
See,
scope.
whenever I died, I lost where I'd done that.
Nathan.
So now you're just
I got
punching people in
gorilla
the
arms.
face.
Okay, well, now you're the big robot guy
And
who,
one taps everyone.
who goes 1 and 2 against Alita.
Oh, look at this.
Come
Bop.
Dude, Alita could take you out like
He's
nothing
dead.
right now.
Yeah, dude. Alita would rip you to shreds. But anyway, any other critique, commentaries, things like that on it?
Well, I mean, I guess I never really said anything about the whole what would I do
Yeah. I
recomposing
was
it.
going to say. Split.
It's so difficult to really say because to me the main thrust of this movie is the relationship, and I hate it. I think it ruined this whole thing for me. I was laughing so many times at this movie, not because it was funny, but because I was just like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
And the whole time I kept thinking, man, Price is going to hate this movie so much
Like me with the Punisher.
if he watches
Yeah.
it. And I'm really still kind of disappointed that didn't happen because, oh man, I feel like the heat you would have been having
Yeah.
over this conversation
Yeah.
would be much higher than what it is.
Price ordered his coffee black, and you put one creamer into it, and suddenly you won't drink
And
it.
suddenly the whole world starts.
Too good for
coming down.
anime. Price Bell, everybody.
No,
Yeah.
speaking of ordering, I got a pulled pork sandwich the other day, and it said it came with coleslaw and sauce. I was like, okay, coleslaw on the side. I picked
No,
my sauce.
on it.
It came on it.
On it,
Have you
dude.
heard of that?
Yeah, if you're in Nashville, they're gonna
Oh,
put
yeah.
everything on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fucking travesty. Don't ruin my
Thank
barbecue.
you.
No. Coleslaw is okay on a barbecue sandwich.
Insane.
No.
I scraped the whole thing off, and Kelly was like, why did you do that?
At that
Yeah,
point,
because
now
I don't
you
like
just got
bad
nasty
shit on
little
my good
mayonnaise on it. Gross.
But anyway, you were talking about the creamer.
Yeah.
But no, if Nathan is saying, like, I'm glad I didn't watch it. Again, I didn't do it just because I didn't think I'd like it. It just didn't fit the anime category, so I didn't watch it.
It did,
Yeah.
but-
But no, I don't wanna
watched it
fuss
enough
about
for
it.
both of us. I watched it enough for both.
Did you watch it twice?
No.
Oh, because I remember you watched
I
it
did
a
watch
while
it. Yeah,
ago.
I watched it like
That's
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
I watched it literally just today.
Did you?
First chance
I watched the
had.
OVA like a couple hours before this.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, are you three ready to do scores?
No, we got a question.
Oh,
I already did the question.
Yeah, you did.
What was the question?
The TV series or miniseries or.
Yeah, but you didn't announce it as a question, so you
Ah.
didn't redo it.
So it has to be something else now.
That's the only way we have the timestamps in these in these YouTube reviews.
Who was the bigger cuck? Him or Paul from College?
Definitely Paul
You
from.
go for Paul.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to beat Paul, in my opinion.
Paul's super mega cock.
Yeah.
Paul was tough.
It's
Yeah.
like, why'd you have sex with everybody else and not me?
Paul.
I wish someone would have sex with me, ghost girl.
Yeah,
got
and
his-
like leave me cursed for life.
Until I have sex with 60 other women.
Paul had it so rough and It Follows, they had to redeem him with a whole good movie with. It's kind of a fun story. Right? Yeah.
And he still was a shitbag in that movie.
I mean, he was better.
Like, why don't I just go for this girl who's terrible for me instead of this sweet other girl?
That poor actor's
Beautiful.
really on a downward spiral. 'Cause I think
How about this is a pretty simple question. Was that even close to being an anime?
absolutely was.
No. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Oh.
For all intents and purposes for this podcast, yes, it was 100% anime, and did her legs just bounce back?
Yep, her legs were like. I'm glad I got that on video because
This is
I
post-
really look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Dang it, I just
That was
missed it.
so weird. Her legs turned sideways and she started walking on
On the
geometry
railing.
that she shouldn't have been.
Everybody at home, remember this is post patch 1.23.
Uh huh.
That's
Who makes this game? You can send it to him.
Yeah.
CD Projekt
CD
Red.
Projekt Red.
Oh,
they,
believe me.
they generally do really good work.
yeah.
They still
This
have
game.
not fixed this game.
I'm.
And it's been a long time since
Yeah.
it's been at least a year.
Yeah. Well, no.
Right?
Limit, buddy.
No?
It's been about
it's
6-7
not,
months.
It's it's not.
I think
been a
Tyler
year.
got it
Alright,
back
those
in
That
fall.
was longer
The
than
moral of
that.
the story is buy the dip, kids. They'll put out something good eventually. And if we learn
Yeah.
anything, it stonks this year. Scores. Nathan, I'll start with you.
I really like the lore of this world. I think there's a lot of cool concepts. I would have enjoyed a different movie in this world. The one that I got disappointed me immensely. And that being said, like, it had a lot of good stuff going on, so I guess ultimately I'm going to land at just a 6.
Mm.
Like, it's above the average, mostly due to the production value and the world building.
It's
But
James Cameron.
yeah,
Yeah.
James
but
Cameron
it
wrote the
is hurt
screenplay, right?
so heavily
Oh, I thought he directed.
by
No, Robert
the
Rodriguez directed.
romance that I think ruined this movie.
I give it a 10. Mason, go ahead.
Okay.
Hit the button!
We're skipping those numbers.
Where's
Hey, the button's here. I don't know where, but the button is here. Oh, it's right
It's
behind
right over
Dylan.
there.
Give me
Yeah,
that button.
Yeah, you know what that button says is not what you think it's gonna say though. Didn't it get messed up?
I think
I
it did.
totally re-recorded.
I got a 10 though, so you got to turn it on first. All right, it's a 10 from me.
What?
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 Yeah, what?
So for all legal intents and purposes, Price isn't actually given the 10, so the button won't work. It knows what
Yeah,
he's
it
doing.
knows.
Yeah, it knows.
Yeah.
This movie, I think I enjoyed it probably more than anyone else in here. Not that it's so incredibly good. I didn't notice the, I don't need that.
No.
I didn't notice the romance was that bad. I do just remember that Hugo kind of sucked. I didn't think that he ate up too much screen time, luckily. But evidently that was a
Just hanging out.
huge deal for Nathan and potentially Dylan too. I give this movie a 7, almost a 7.5, but I'll land at a 7 just because it had
Okay.
really cool, quick, like each one of the robots. It was just like, well, I was gonna say just like Rock'em Sock'em robots, but they all had the exact same punching. Like
Right.
every robot had a different weapon. And I
Yeah.
thought that was so freaking. Wasn't there one part where one robot ended up getting the really gnarly arm of another robot?
Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
that in this movie?
The-
Yeah,
It was all of the claws.
Yeah.
That like retracted and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
The scorpion.
Yeah,
it was
that
like
was
5
so
scorpions
cool.
into a
Yeah.
claw,
Yeah.
right?
That was so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And he just kept coming back stronger, and all the other robots also weren't too bad. The two that were chasing the girl at the very end,
Mm-hmm.
Out of the
Screwball and then
arena?
the big
Yeah.
shoppy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
both of those were
He
really
gets
neat.
he gets such a brutal death too.
He does.
Yeah, he
yanked
gets
into the
100%
gearbox.
killed.
Yeah. Like some of these bodies, it looks like they knock the human part out of the robot, and they're like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
it's right.
like-
This guy unequivocally fucking dies.
Yeah. There's no scrapping.
Yeah,
him.
she kills him too.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
She's
she
like
died.
the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meat
Like,
grinder.
She deliberately is like, oh, that will crush him. He's attached to this chain. I'm throwing the chain
Yeah.
into this to just like rip him into like it's like a compactor kind
Yeah.
of thing. I
I don't know
Yeah,
why
it's
that's
one of
just
those,
out on
like-
some
it's
random
one of those,
rooftop.
like,
by the
it's
way.
one of those metal shredders
Right,
that
it's
you
the-
see at a scrapyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
No, that was one of the cooler parts of the whole
Yeah.
movie. That and the
Sweet.
blood on the face.
Yeah.
That part was cool.
The dog
Yeah,
blood on
the
the
dog.
face.
The puppy blood.
Yeah,
That was great.
blood.
If
Love
somebody
the
had killed
puppy blood.
Griff, that's what Hannah would have done, though. So if you tell me that's unbelievable, I'm like, no, I
I'm telling
believe
you
it.
right now, I think most people would do that.
Yeah. So anyway, you give it a 7?
I give it a 7. If it had less of the naiveness and less of that little dinky,
Mhm.
oh, this girl is head over heels for no real reason,
Right.
I would have totally given it higher. Because I did like the robot parts.
Well, Mason said that he's probably going to be the highest score on this, and he's wrong. 7.5.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, for all the
Probably
wacky
took it
hijinks and stuff like that, I love bad teen dramas. I love good teen dramas.
Man,
And
this is a bad one.
this is a bad teen drama.
You're insane.
Cooked into a fucking sweet android action film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world's pretty cool. The stuff's like that. Here's the thing, most 7s. Here's where I cover it with 7.5. 1, because it's unequivocally anime. But 2, and anime just always deserves better, guys. That's what Price has always told us. So
You're right.
Didn't you just say earlier that there's no way this movie is an anime?
No, that was Mason.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, Price is
But I'm
goldfish over here doesn't even know who says what anymore.
I'm a silly little sponge brain. I don't know what's anime and what's not. Price.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been watching anime longer than Price, so I definitely get the judgment
Yeah.
call on it.
No
And
way.
it is anime, baby.
Not possible.
So that being said, here's the big thing that differentiates the 7 to a 7.5 for me, is that they sit there and say, okay, we're gonna make a sequel. You interested? I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
watch
I'll,
a sequel on this
I'll
shit.
give you that.
Like-
But it's also with me hoping that surely they wouldn't do 2 stories that
About
are
him.
about a romance.
Oh, Hugo
that
comes
is-
back and fucks this whole next movie up too.
Oh, he's
I can
probably a
already
villain.
listen. 100%. I don't know this for the truth. I don't know. I've done zero research. Here's what happens in the second movie. Hugo comes back. They've got his body. He's the program thing, hunting and chasing after her, and she has the emotional struggle of having to deal with him. And at the crux of all of it, she has to fight him, and at the end, he finally regains his consciousness while he's hunting her. That's exactly how that fucking plays out. I will put money on it.
That
That does
I
sound
see
right.
it. That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like what they do.
Because he's already in like a weird transition phase from one body to another.
And is all of that going to be super annoying and fucking bad in the sequel? Yes.
Yeah, but the robot hands and weaponry will be
Right.
twice as cool
But they're
as the
doing
first one.
more new mechs, more new
Yep.
things. Things are finally challenging Alita now, besides fucking dumb Hugo, and he only challenges her because it's an emotional concept.
She had so little to fight against
Right.
in this movie. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, she was just wrecking things.
See, she gets the sword, but next movie she upgrades her armory and she starts getting more stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
She gets 2 swords.
Yeah, I just want to see the shit they
Gets
equip her with.
Blade hands from
Right, man.
Cyberpunk
Like, listen,
2077.
there's enough cool shit and concepts in it, or even if you're ruining it with like some of the dumb Hollywood shit, that at its core, there's enough good stuff for me to get on board
Yeah.
with it. Like, I think the only drawback is that like you can't give me another good cast and tie their hands behind their back. So that will just sit here and say I don't care about the rest of this franchise. If you're gonna keep giving me Christoph Waltz, and it's well, actually Christoph Waltz is fine. If you keep giving him Mahershala Ali, and you keep giving him what to work with, what like you gave him to work with, I'm gonna be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're like, okay, so we didn't give Mahershala, but we have brought back Black Panther himself.
He reminded me of the bad Tron. Who was it? Kurt Russell or?
Kurt. Oh, you're thinking of
or the other one.
the dude. No.
Yeah, the dude, the guy
Yeah.
from The Big Lebowski.
Right.
He was like him. He was like the Kit or whatever his name
Right.
was, or
Yeah.
from Tron,
The
Mahershala Ali or whatever.
yeah, like the big baddie in the Tron, like he kind of not really
He was-
owns
he
the
was
Tron
the
world,
bad
but he's the
He's
version.
in
AI
Hell
program.
and High Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff
There we go.
Bridges.
Yeah.
I got
There
that one.
you are.
A split second.
A split second, you got me.
Damn it.
Dylan
But
gets that point.
anyway, yeah, moral of the story is like there's enough good stuff in there. Is the movie perfect? Hell no. Is this movie have a lot of bad stuff? For sure. Is it dragged a little bit? Yeah. But is it dragged long enough to make me drag this under in a score? No, because there's enough good to keep it afloat. So I'm going to lock it at a nice 7.5, which is a nice bell curve. Speaking of that bell, make sure to hit the bell. We're talking about our next review. If you want to know what it is.
Let's see what it is.
All right, so
Let's see
here's
if
the
it
thing.
lands on that green spot
whoever
again.
spins it, I want you to give it every fucking.
I got it. So
I really hope
this
this green category right here, where I put my next pick, has been destroyed. It's been picked so many
I'm
times.
telling you right
So
now.
if it gets picked again, I'm gonna find that hilarious.
Because this is
Oh,
going
dude,
to
I've got you.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna hold
Don't
it
touch
too.
the
'cause
little
I don't
red
want
thingy. There you go.
Okay.
I don't want it to hit me.
There it is.
Golly. Oh, we got a different one.
Different one. We
Okay.
are
Black and white.
Nope. I was gonna say no colors here, but that
It's
rolls off
you
bad.
and Nathan.
So-
Actually, it's you.
That one was my-
It has to be you now.
Yeah, and this is
But that's his own category.
that is also my own category.
No, it's not.
Black and
Yeah, it
white.
is.
I thought it was mine.
Yeah, Dylan definitely
No,
picked
Dylan
black
did
and white.
that. Yeah, I did the black and white category.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why did you believe
You
me?
did
But-
Blanca.
Strangely enough, yeah, I did. I was getting doubled down on that one, but
Mm.
yeah, I guess there wasn't a lot of.
So Mason's picking this one, right?
Dude,
No.
I've got a few. I don't.
I think.
Well,
You have
I
the
guess
most.
you'll
I'll probably
have
do
to
the
tune in
second.
next time. To...
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're
see
splitting
what
hairs
that's
on
gonna
who to
be.
get that one. We don't want to do that all on camera, but make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like the content we keep putting out every single week, and you already hit the bell. But and
Ciao.
on the way down, make sure to give us comments. What do you think about Alita Battle Angel? Did you like it? Would you see a sequel of it? Do you think that it's animated? Let us know in the comments below, and we will catch you next week with something in black and white.
Do you think we should do another review out on the water? Who knows?
Maybe
Only if
that'll
it's
happen.
appropriate. Only if it's appropriate.
Oh.
That's our show, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
We'll rewatch Ride Your Wave.
No.
no,
No, we will not.
What we're not gonna do.
Okay, wait. So if it was down to me and Nathan last time, Nathan had to pick. Isn't it
Nathan
just
had
me?
the pick.